Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am naturally Elise, and that is my bro,
JR.
And today we are welcoming Tamone. Hey, am I saying it right?
Yep, that's right. What's
up,
y'all?
Long as I didn't say it.
What's going on, y'all?
Nothing much. Happy to see you.
Yes, I'm happy to see y'all. I was telling Elise earlier, I am such a big fan of this show, of just the whole R&B representers platform, the whole movement. Like, you guys, just from one music person to the both of you, like, it's truly appreciated what you guys do, and just shed light on stuff just beyond the surface of what we see every day. So it's I really appreciate both of you for even thinking of little old me.
Yeah. Hey, John, what Keith always tell us? Checks in the mail.
Checks in the mail.
So yes, Mr. Tamone, how about you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, as much or as little as you like to tell us?
What can I? Okay, so I am Tamone Bacon. I am born and raised in Macon, Georgia. I currently reside in Nashville, Tennessee for the last almost 6 years. So it's been about 5.5 years since I've been here. I work in the music industry. So I work for RCA Inspiration, which is Sony Music's gospel division. So specifically, I worked with brand partnerships. So I helped spearhead a lot of like brand campaigns for different artists on our roster. I'm also co-host of the State of Black Music podcast for the National Museum of African American Music. And so I do that along with Claude Kelly, Chuck Harmony, and Phil Thornton. And, you know, I'm a music lover. As you guys have seen, you know, I relate to you all in a lot of things that you all see on Twitter. I'm here in Nashville chilling, you know.
Hey.
Trying to live another day.
How about you tell us what song you picked to talk about today that is one of your favorite R&B songs?
Okay. So I'm going to give you all the backstory as to why this song has, you know, it's been one of my favorites for years, but it recently just kind of resurfaced for whatever reason. And so, of course, we've all heard about the Spotify debacle with the Joe Rogan stuff. And so, you know, I felt like I needed to stand in solidarity with that. And so I shut down my Spotify account and transitioned all of my stuff over to Tidal. And I've just been getting to know the platform Tidal because I work in the music industry, so I've known some of the things that they've done, but like really digging into like the algorithm and just some of the things that they do on their platform, I've just been getting to know it. So like they have really good video playlists. And I was sitting here working one day and all of a sudden, Jade Don't Walk Away comes on. And of course, I've heard that song thousands of times since 1992 when it dropped. But in that moment, I'm sitting on my couch doing work and the wave of nostalgia just kind of comes over me and I get these chills. And just seeing them with the dookie braids and the combat boots and just the little answer machine intro that comes on before they, like, all of that just kind of took me back. And so my song that I wanted to talk about today was Jade Don't Walk Away. I'm gonna do this because
you better.
I had to do this. I gotta do this. And I ordered the actual full album, the Jade to the Max album on vinyl, but I hadn't gotten you yet. But that's just how deep of a hole that I've been in with Jade for the last couple of weeks, because I've been re-listening to both of their albums, even the live record that's nowhere to be found on streaming services. But of course, you know, I have it.
Yeah.
I've never heard the live album.
Who hasn't heard the live album?
Me.
Really?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I've never heard it before.
Yeah, it's
not that I remember.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember it being a thing like that back in the day. But I do remember that it actually happened. And so when I got older, of course, I kind of revisited just, as an adult, revisited a lot of the Jade stuff. But yeah, I just, that was the song I chose because it just kind of, it re-entered my world, and I've been jamming to it for like all of the Jade stuff, looking at interviews and old clips and just trying to figure out where the members are now and just all that stuff. So I've been on a Jade wave the last 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah.
Isn't this song like really just a sing along? Like, if you don't sing along to this song, like, I just don't trust you, like, at all. Right. I just don't. Right. Like, yo, it's been many times I've been in a spot, because when you go to the little 90s joint, Don't Walk Away has to be played. Like, it just, it has to.
Exactly.
And I literally remember being in a spot in Lucky's, I'm gonna call them out, in Baltimore. Okay. And it was at the Harbor, and I'm in there, and when it comes on, you see every Black person like, doom, 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 like you hear when that joint coming on. And it was one of my friends, I ain't gonna call their name, at least you know them very well. And and I looked, and everybody's singing, and I looked, I said, wait a minute, you don't know this song? He was like, I heard it before, but I don't know the word. I said, get away from me. I don't trust you at all. I've known you for all these years, and you don't know this.
But you know what? You know what, though? Like, I think another reason why I wanted to talk about this song today is because, like, it's one of the quintessential songs of the R&B records of the 90s. Like, it was a part of that toward the end of the New Jack Swing era, like 92, 93, 94, like when it started to kind of, the sound started to change. But I just still feel like sometimes, like, okay, we talk about the TLCs, we talk about the SWVs, we talk about En Vogue, we talk about Boyz II Men, we talk about Shock, like, but I just feel like Jade, it's kind of like, you have to bring them up. They're like, oh, I do remember Jade. It's never like a part of the conversation. And I feel like Don't Walk.
And that's wild to me because it wasn't like they were one-hit wonders. They had other singles that did well. Like, so it's so weird for them to be left out of the narrative. And this was such a big song. It peaked at number 4 Hot 100. It peaked in March. It peaked in March of '93. Yeah.
It was a pop smash. And I remember the very first time I heard this record. I'll never forget it. To my point about me being from Macon, Georgia, we weren't always like, just because of the market that we were a smaller town. And so it was almost like the song had to like get to a certain point before the radio started to play it. Yeah. So back in the day, we would hear a lot of songs for the first time on BET, Video Vibrations, Video Soul, The Box, MTV Jams, So I remember we were watching The Box one day, and all of a sudden this video comes on, and we was like, mind you, by this time we had already known who a TLC and a SWV was. I think they were out before them. And we were like, me and my family, we were stuck on this, and my daddy fell in love with their record. Like, y'all remember the 1-900 number that he would have to call?
Yes.
Part of the video, he ran my mama's phone bill up.
Oh, no.
Because he loved that damn song so much that he called and called and called and called. That was how we didn't have open access to any streaming service like back then. We had to like wait until the video came on.
Yeah.
And so like I remember having my blank cassette, and when they finally started to play it on the radio, like recording the song off the radio.
The kids would never
like that. And then I remember this same, of course it was in cassette form, but my sister bought the single, and it had the instrumental on it. And my dad, we grew up singing, so my dad would always, like, any song that we kind of gravitated toward, he would always like make sure we got the cassette with the instrumental on it, so we could sing to the instrumental. Like, he liked to hear us sing these songs. Yeah. And so she had the cassette, and my sister would always sing. He would always have her sing "Don't Walk Away." And so I instantly go back to that place, being 5 in 1992, and it just puts me back to that place.
I'm glad he said how old he was. Because I always get the youngest one, because me, I was 6 when this song came out. And honestly, you brought up SWV too. I was nervous for my girls when this single came out. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the first time I heard it on the box. And I heard the acapella. You know, when they come in on the video, it starts with the acapella. Right. So, mind you, yes. And SWV had just had Right Here out, the original version. That people wasn't really digging like that.
They hadn't hit.
So it was like they were playing that, but then Jade comes out with this. And mind you, I'm from New York, so I'm in South Carolina though, but I'm in New York, and I'm like, yo, these SWV girls, they remind me of home, so I'm liking it. Yeah. And then when I heard Jade and I heard this record, I said, uh-oh. I said, oh, when I heard it and that beat came in and it was so infectious, like it caught you right then and there. I said, oh my God, like, I don't know, yo. I might like these girls. What's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on? So then when SWV came out with I'm So Into You, I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Okay, good. We good. But when they came out with this, I was like, yo, it was so street. It was so, like, I was on a college campus. So you had the girls playing this. You had the dudes rocking to it. So it was, like, massive. So I was just like, oh, this joint, and it brings me back to that. Anytime I literally hear this song, I go back to that. I go back to being 6 years old, walking around on South Carolina State campus. That's where my mom went. And just hear it blasting out of the dorm rooms, the girls, the guys, like everybody was rocking to it. You know what I mean? Because you had the guys, of course, this is what, 92, they jamming the Red Man. This is, you know what I'm saying? This is that type of thing. And then you hear these girls come in, because nobody was playing my girls, SWV. They were playing my girls at first, because nobody was really digging the Right Here joint. But then it was like these girls came in with that beat, and clearly, obviously,
to this day, like it still feels good.
It sounds fresh.
And you know what? And actually, that wasn't my introduction to Jade. Mine was I Want to Love You, because it was on the Class Act soundtrack. So I was excited when I heard Don't Walk Away, because that first single, I Want to Love You, was so strong. Like that song still goes, and they like harmonizing on it. Like they're more showcasing their voices more on the first single. Don't Walk Away is more like it's more about the beat. Yeah, it's more about the production. But I Want to Love You is about their voices, because they're, you know, like they're singing, but it's still like a hard song. But when Don't Walk Away came, it's like, okay, we showed y'all that we could sing. Now we're gonna show you we got a whole bop. Like, So I'm kind of glad that came out first and it was on the soundtrack. And even if people didn't know it was Jade, the voices in the song made them familiar. So when they heard Don't Walk Away, they're like, I don't know these girls, but it sounds familiar, you know.
You sound just like my mom. She said the same thing. She was like, I heard these girls before, like something. I heard it. And my mother was like, oh, they was from Class Act. And it was like, oh.
And it was the main song in the movie, because they played that song a bunch in the movie, not just one time. So.
And see, the thing, I don't remember, like when I hear it, I Want to Love You, I vaguely remember it being played around in places, but it feels like I didn't see that video until years later, or it didn't really resonate with me until years later. I feel like Don't Walk Away was the first.
Yeah. Well, they didn't play the video and stuff much. I just remember because I love Kid and Play. I love Class Act. That's why I heard it.
Got it.
So I don't remember really, because I would have been like 14. I don't really remember seeing a video for it. Or if I did, it was like once.
Got you.
Yeah.
But I heard it. They did play it on the radio a little bit, but I remembered it mostly from the movie, because they played a lot in the movie. They didn't just play it one time.
And I think that's what they said on, as far as the producers, when that song actually hit. And it was like a top 20 single. And it was like, okay, now we got to push this album. It was like you told me, sister, like John A. Hey DJ hit so fast, they had to record the album in like 2 weeks. And I think that's what Jade and them had to do with Jade to the Max, because I think it was like, all right, I Want to Love You hit, because they wasn't even wasn't it weird? And maybe I'm wrong. It was an original, then it wasn't, and then now it was the three girls, because before then it was it was.
Yeah. I think because when did we talk about Jade before? I think I talked about that of how the group came to be.
Okay.
There were two other girls.
Yeah. In the original, and in the end, ended up being one of the original girls in the group, but they named it from the original girls in the group.
Yeah, you did. It was you.
But they kept the name because the name kind of popped. So yeah.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize, like in just kind of going through my little Jade rabbit hole, I didn't know that the track for the song was originally for Stephanie Mills, like LaSalle Benford.
I heard that.
And I was like, I'm in my mind trying to hear Stephanie Mills sing "Don't Walk Away."
Stephanie Mills a G though, so she could have made the shit work.
Yeah, she would have.
She could have made the joint work, but I couldn't see her on the record like that.
Like Joy Marshall was saying that they heard that, like, they were leaving the studio and they were getting ready to cue some stuff up for Stephanie Mills, or like getting ready to write to it or whatever, and the words weren't on track yet. And then they were just like, "Oh, we need that beat. Like, we're not leaving the studio until we get that beat." And so they really, like, wrote to the song. Like, "Don't Walk Away" was written and recorded in like the same session.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, because now that I think about it, like I personally can hear, I don't know if I can hear her singing those same words and like with all the sex noises and stuff at the end. I don't know if I can hear her doing all that, but I can, just based on where Stephanie Mills was during that time, like that was around the Something Real album. She out of Something in the Way You Make Me Feel, and she was trying to get in good with the whole New Jack sound.
Right.
I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like they were probably trying to, use that beat for that record.
I mean, I can hear it, because think about the stuff that Angela Winbush was putting out that had beats like that. So don't discount, like, they was still younger. Remember, the 90s was 30 years ago.
Damn, yo,
so they weren't old. Stephanie and Angela, they weren't old ladies.
No, they were not. Because
Treat You Right
is still the
Treat You Right. She sounded perfect on it, but I'm sure if she had recorded it, we'd be like, "Oh, this song was originally for Angela Winbush," we'd be like, "I don't know about that," or "I can't imagine that," but that happened, and it's still a bop. And I still, when I work at a bar, I put that song on. People, and them people there, they don't know the song, but they go up for it when it come on, because it's you can't deny that. That knock, you can't. No one can deny that. It doesn't matter what they singing on top of it, what they sound like. Like, a good beat is a good beat.
That's true. That's very true. And you can see how it was very influential in hip hop, because Q-Tip used the bass line.
He used
the bass line. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing about a producer that I love. They hearing everything that's going on around them. And that song was so much of a hit. That's why I was like, being on campus and seeing the hip hop dude, like hardcore dudes, you know what I'm saying, blasting this joint out they dorm room. And I'm like, oh, okay, y'all know it's three girls, right? Like singing on this joint. And y'all out here blasting this joint, you know what I mean? But then Q-Tip do it for a award tour, and it was like, oh, Q-Tip, you fuck with this joint. Okay. You know what I mean?
And it was palatable enough for it to, like, to your point earlier, at least, like, it crossed over to pop. Like, it was a pop, like, I was watching the performance that they did on MTV Spring Break. Like, everybody didn't do MTV Spring Break.
They was eating that.
Arsenio Hall, like, they were,
and
it
so,
was just like,
So when they picked on the chart, let me tell you what else was on the chart. Okay.
What was in front of them? Please.
Yes, I got you. Okay.
Yes.
So the top 10 when Jade Don't Walk Away peaked at number 4. Number 1 was Informer, Snow.
That is
number 2 was Freak Me, Silk. And remember that Freak Me was the biggest R&B song of the year.
That was
right.
Then number 3 was Nothing But a G Thing.
Okay.
And then Jade, Don't Walk Away. Then it was Ordinary World, Duran Duran. Then it was Whitney, I Have Nothing. Then it was Whitney, I'm Every Woman. Then it was A Whole New World with Peebo Bryce and Regina Belle. Mr. Window by Arrested Development. And then Bon Jovi, Bed of Roses.
Come on. We was killing it, yo. Blacks was all up and through pop.
It was only 3 non-Black artists on there, and one of them was doing Black music, even though he was white, but he was doing Black music. So
right.
So we'll say 8 were Black music, not necessarily
Right.
Black people, but Black music.
Right. Oh, Whitney did.
Like to where Bon Jovi and Duran Duran couldn't get past the Blacks.
It's just
damn.
to me.
So, Jay,
1992 is one of my favorite years in music.
Absolutely.
Probably because just we had a lot of debut acts that year, like Mary, Jade, SWV, TLC, Toni Braxton. Well, her album didn't come out to 93, but she debuted on the Boomerang soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were getting knocked over the head with just classic shit. And it's just like, when I think about it now, I'm like, we really didn't appreciate the music. Like we had it so good back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like we appreciated it. Like,
and it was so many people winning.
Yeah.
Like we had so many groups that was winning during this time. Male and female, like you had, like you just said TLC debut. You had SWV. You had En Vogue coming with Funky Divas, so they was killing it. Like it was just all these girls was like really killing it during that time, and it's like, where like I wish we could go back to that. Like since just read the top 10, and it was damn near Black, 80% Black. Where we at now?
And it was, and of the Black stuff, only one was a hip hop. The rest was R&B songs.
Yeah. And it's just sad. It's just, and you know,
too, because Arrested Development, but that was kind of a fusion of hip hop and R&B. So I'll count that R&B.
Right. What was the producer's name again? I know it was Ronald, and
they wrote and produced it.
But what was it? What was the other one name?
Sal Benford.
There we go. Blame it on the Red Cup, y'all. Because I was listening to their album today, right? Because I rock with Jade to the max, and it's the one that I really like and nobody really talk about is Out with the Girls.
Okay.
I love that beat. I love that beat so hard. I love that beat, and I love Hold Me Close. And the reason why I love Hold Me Close is because them brothers did a little bit of recycling, if we can talk about this. They did a little bit of recycling because if you listen to Love Me Down by Tisha Campbell, it sounds like that. Yes. I was like, when I was listening today, I said, "What? Wait a minute."
I just posted that on my IG story.
Are you serious?
Over the weekend. Yes. I literally just posted because I was like, that whole that you love, I was just like, this sound and I was like, let me just go to my Tisha Campbell album in my personal files and make sure. Yeah. I was like, they basically recycled this record.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then with them doing I Belong to You by Tony, it made sense to me. It was like all this sound, it sounds the same. But when I heard her Hold Me Close, now mind you, I love Tisha Campbell album because nobody don't talk about it, but I love the album, to be honest with you.
It's a solid project.
Yes, I mean, maybe few people, maybe me and you like it.
You, Tamone, and Mark is the only people that
me, Tamone, and Mark like it.
Y'all the only ones that talk about it.
Love Me Down,
the only ones that like it.
What nobody say.
I'm not in the number.
She always gets on me about this album. She be like, no.
Mark was ready to quit me because I was talking junk about this album. Mark was like, he was coming for my debt.
I love this. I love it, like Broken Hearted and Love Me Down, and I'm saying Tisha was singing for her life on this record. Like, you is terrible. But when I heard Love Me Down, I was like, I heard this beat before. What the? nah, something sound weird. And then I said, oh shit. Then I heard Hold Me Close, and I said, I
think that's
some
so
recycling here.
Because I'm like, I did the same thing over, like I was listening to Jade. I was in the bed Saturday listening to Jade to the max.
Yeah.
I'm like, this sounds like something. And then when it went into that hook, I was like, this is Tisha Campbell, Love Me Down. And I went to my personal files because it's not anywhere to stream.
Nowhere.
I think Tisha probably like, don't even put that up.
No, I think Elise told the streaming network, she told them don't put it on there. It was her fault. It's Elise. I blame her. Because
I wish I had that much pull.
She give me and Mark shit about the album, y'all. Sorry, Tisha Campbell. She love you though, but that album she don't.
Yeah, she said Tisha Campbell said it went triple wood in one of her interviews.
Oh, she actually talked about the album though?
She briefly talked about, I think it was on her intimate portrait that she did for Lifetime years. And she was like, yeah, I had an album and it went triple wood. And she was like laughing. Like she kind of scoffed.
Man, I even got the cassette. I got the CD off of Amazon.
Same here.
Yes. See, like, come on. See. Thank you.
Yes. But yeah, I do. I love the Jade to the Max album, except for one song. We talked about it.
I know where she going.
Which one?
Oh, Don't Ask My Neighbor. It's the worst cover of it.
Yeah.
It sounds rushed. It's arranged stupid. I hate everything. It's thin. It's so thin. It's like skim milk. It's like has a blue tint to it. It's not okay.
I can see why you would say that. Didn't they do 2 Emotions covers on that record? Isn't there a song called Bridges on there that was by the Emotions or something like that? I could be wrong.
Did they?
I don't think so.
Well, you know,
maybe it was on the next album.
Okay.
Everybody used to do a cover of one. Did they do it on Mind, Body, and Soul? Maybe.
Let me see.
But yeah, my song on this album is
Bless.
looking for. Oh, Bless. Yeah.
Bless. That's right.
Oh, maybe it is because it's written by Maurice White. Yeah.
My favorite songs from that record, of course, Don't Walk Away.
Yeah. I love Looking for Mr. Do Right. That's my song so hard. Oh my God.
It's just like a jam.
One Woman is the joint. I love how it comes in.
Woman, baby.
That piano.
Treat me like
the trifecta of One Woman, Give Me What I'm Missing, and Looking for Mr. Do Right. I'm good with that.
I agree. I totally agree. Because I started, it's so crazy. Since when you came, maybe it was the second time because you done been here so many times now. But when you came, and I was listening to that album before I came and picked you up, and I was listening to it, and I was like, yo, from One Woman to Looking for Mr. Do Right is perfect. Like I didn't need Don't Ask My Neighbors, because at first I was like, okay. And then I was like, ooh, no. What? No. You can, and then sis, because one thing about Elise, she had me listening to things differently. Because I give it, Elise know me, even if the background is fine, I give the song the okay. Like, I give it the okay, Elise be like, no. Listen to the damn song and listen to it. And when I listen to Don't Ask My Neighbors, I'm sorry. Look, I love you, girl. I tried, but
see, yeah. The problem wasn't the vocals on that at all.
It wasn't.
It was the arrangement, and it was that thin ass production. That shit was so. That you doing this cover, that's your opportunity to go. I don't know. It was wrong.
You have to rush the album because she did say that they had like a month or two or something to finish their record because of how it hit so big. So yeah, that could be the reason why. I mean, I don't have to have a song I skip it. I don't think it's terrible, but I skip it if I'm listening to the full record. I basically cut it off at Looking for Mr. Do Right.
Yeah, I think everybody does too.
Yeah. And that record, it wasn't their fault, it was bad because the vocals was fine. It's just It was just everything else was not fun.
Yeah, the girls sound fine. They sound fine. That's what it was. It was the production was just like,
And I think it's going back to Don't Walk Away. I don't think, of course, I could hear that, Di could sing.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm older, I'm like, this lady really could sing. Like her tone was amazing. Amazing because she's still out here singing. I think she's touring with Rod Stewart. Is she still touring with Rod Stewart now?
Yeah, that's what I want her because the girls are back together and then she ain't with them, which I think is a little weird to me because I'm like, I never knew there was really a beef with y'all. Like,
so they keep kind of tiptoeing around like why she's not a part of the group. They keep saying, they giving the politically correct answer, like, oh, she's doing her own thing, she's touring. I'm like, something happened.
Had to.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, all these girl groups that's coming back getting these bags, and you mean to tell me y'all can't get on one of these like retro tours with the original lineup?
Catch all of that what he just gave y'all, the retro tours. Catch all of it.
I mean, but they are getting their back. People buying them tickets.
Yeah. You better believe it. Because you see, I love how SWV brought Di on stage.
Exactly.
And let her do Don't Walk Away. That was and for have them three girls behind her singing along with it, like that was dope to me. And to have, it would have been dope for all three of them and to be on stage with SWV during the time they all started together. And for that moment, it would have been dope. Like you said, get the bag. Like, what's wrong with y'all?
I wish I would have seen the original girls on the DJ Cassidy thing that they did recently.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see all three of them.
That's
what led me to believe. I'm like, something ain't right, because I'm like, y'all couldn't call Joy Marshall and Tanya, what ain't her name? Tanya?
Yeah.
Call them and get them on the thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all couldn't do that. But I love how you said, that it is literally a song of, if you're playing a 90s set, it doesn't matter, pop, R&B, whatever. Don't Walk Away has to be played. And I just, is it me, or I always want to hear the intro of it when them doing a cappella, and they don't have it on streaming at all.
When they first, because for a long time, the album wasn't even on streaming services.
No, it was not.
And when they finally put it up, I'm like, who signed off on this? Like, where's the original master of Jade to the Max from 1992? Like, y'all clearly edited this down. Like, I don't know what A&R department at Warner. Shout out to Warner, because the album is through. But I'm like, who like, if it were me, because I work in the music industry and I always like, I be seeing these like older albums being uploaded. Like I was talking about TLC the other day and how the fan mail album that I'm used to hearing from when I was 12 is not the same one. And I know a lot of times it has to do with like, legal stuff and, sign off on certain things. But I'm like, y'all could at least put the original like Answer Machine intro on there now. Like that's classic to the song. Like you just
when it just goes into the beat, it's like, I'm like, you like waiting for something, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, to me, I'm like, I want to hear "We'll Get Back to You." Like I want to hear that. And it's just like, damn it. Like, even when they took it off Soul Train now, their performance that they did on the Soul Train, everybody used to go on Soul Train to promote their record. And I love, because they was in their jersey, and like you said, the Dookie braids and all of that. And I love it when, even on Soul Train, they played the a cappella version and let them do that. And even though they were lipping it, but at the end of the day, I just think that made the record. But I guess we got to get what we can get, I guess. I'm like,
that's why I have my Jade to the Max CD.
Okay, hello.
My vinyl that's on its way. I always.
Vinyl.
What was that?
How much was the vinyl?
Ooh. It was on Discogs for like, I think I ended up paying like 60 something.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a little pricey, but I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and get this because I'm in a Jade bubble right now.
Okay. Okay.
So I went ahead and just got it. But I wanted it for nostalgia because I remember having that album on cassette. And so I just,
Oh, you paid $60 for it. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Y'all, see, I'm sure y'all can relate to this. Like
when you want something.
Yeah, when you really want something, like for my birthday, I dropped quite a bit of cash for Tweet Southern Hummingbird on vinyl.
I want that so
bad. The
bad.
whole thing, or did they just got some songs on?
No, it's the full album. It's the full 17 tracks.
Where did you find
this? Big Spender, the bonus track. So I was just like, I wanted it because this year makes 20 years, and I was like,
yeah.
I want that album on vinyl for the 20th anniversary. And so, because I'm like, I highly doubt they're gonna do a reissue. So I'm like, I might as well just go ahead and see what's out there. And so I found it, and I was like, do I want to pay this much for Tweet Southern Hummingbird? But I'm like, that's one of my favorite albums from 2002.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, let me just go ahead and get it, and it plays amazing. But
where you live?
A friend of mine has it, and I've always been jealous of it that he has it.
Yeah, and I'm like, and the crazy thing is, like, these stores, they know what albums are, because I know we're not talking about Tweet, but I remember being in high school and everybody was up Ashanti's ass in 2000. Because Ashanti and Tweet came out the very same day. I'll never forget it. And no shade to Ashanti, but I've just never been an Ashanti fan. Like I never purchased her records. Like I've never really connected to her movement. But I will say that I've seen her live, like in the last couple of years, and her set is amazing because, like, we did hear the songs on the radio. So I mean,
right.
The nostalgia comes back or whatever. But as a fan, I just never saw it for her. But I remember saying, like, Tweet is the one. Like, this album is amazing. Homegirl can actually sing. And everybody was like, oh, baby, like, and I remember walking to Target because Target had the exclusive. And I went and got Tweet's album, and I've loved it ever since.
Yes, God. Yes, God.
I had to have it on vinyl. And so, yeah, so all that to say, when if I spend a lot of money on vinyl, probably just like y'all, I'm sure y'all do the same.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I had Tweet's second album on vinyl.
Yeah, and see, I was able to find that for like dirt cheap.
Yeah.
But the Southern Hummingbird, like, these people, they know how to like price these albums to where they can make a good little coin off of. So.
Oh my God.
And just from that period anyway, to get stuff is harder because not as much stuff was pressed. Yeah. That's just what it is. Because vinyl was out.
Yeah.
Vinyl was out. By 2002, vinyl was out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But $60 for Jade? I'm sorry.
But you got to factor in like the conversion because it was like from the UK or something like that. So.
Oh, but then Don't Walk Away was so huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, they had, and what's so crazy about this album is the fact that we all know about the Heat Seekers charts.
Yeah.
They were number one on that, but when it crossed over to the top 200, they was like at 56. This when albums didn't matter for being number one, y'all. Exactly. And it was still good. Right. But it was like, with that, it was just like, all three of their singles were huge. Yeah. That's why I always wonder, why did this album didn't sell the way it should have been? I mean, like,
they went platinum, I think.
Yeah, they did. And when it peaked at 56, I'm like, but wait, all three singles did great. So everybody went and brought the single and not the album? I was always confused with that because I'm like,
that could be it because we bought a lot of singles back then. Like my parents would take us to the store and be like, okay, y'all, we ain't buying three $10 tapes. We gonna get this $1.29. Y'all pick out one $1.29.
That's real.
and going about your business. So
Yes.
it was, and I remember,
and there was a lot of good stuff out, and it was hip hop albums doing crazy numbers, and so it was more spread out of what people were buying. It wasn't like it was just 5 good things out. In the 90s, at any given time in the 90s, it was 100 great things out at a time.
That's true.
Yes.
And CDs and cassettes were not cheap, y'all.
No. Especially
so you had to live with the ones you got.
Yeah.
4 albums were like, and like back then, like $10, $12, $13 for a cassette. That was
that part.
That wasn't cheap.
Yeah. So you had to love the album. You had to find something to love about it.
So yeah, but
yeah,
I still love the song, and I've been playing it like crazy. I'm like, why am I playing this song like I never heard it before? Like I've been playing it like crazy, and it just feels so. I've been riding to it in the car. It's getting warmer here in Nashville. Like riding to it with the windows down and stuff. Like it's just, daylight savings time, spring forward. I mean, it's not getting dark at 4 p.m. no more.
All right.
It feels good. So yeah.
I'm gonna have to check you out, Tamone. Next time I come to Nashville. My auntie and my cousins lived there for decades. So
I will send you my info, and please.
Oh, for sure.
Come to town. I would love.
Oh, Tamone, I'm gonna be there in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's right.
Hit me.
Yes, I'm going with one of my friend's birthday, and I don't know why he picked Nashville because he ain't a music head, so it don't make sense to me. But I said, fine, if you want to go to Nashville, cool. I'm with it. Huh?
I went to the museum.
I don't know what he wants to do, but they have an itinerary, and I'm like, is there anything musical on here? So that's what I'm looking for. But now that I know you there, I'm gonna hit you up.
I will send you my info, and like if you can find some time, like the museum is really dope. If you haven't been to the National Museum of African American Music, like it's really, really dope.
Yeah, that's what I want to do next time I get up there. I want to go this summer because I want to visit my auntie, and so
really dope. So
I miss my peoples. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us. So dope, sir.
Well, thank y'all for hitting me. This was fun. Like,
oh no, you got to come back. Now we know that you. Well, I should have knew, but now you're in the music. We can't get you for no half an hour. No.
Yeah, we gotta talk about a whole album.
We gotta talk about a whole album.
Well, I gotta think of that.
So think about, and it don't have to be a favorite album, just an album worthy of talking about the whole album.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a favorite.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm game. Y'all know I'm game. So
So just be thinking about it, and you just no rush. Just be thinking about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you would like to be found, where can people find you and chat with you?
It's Tamone, so ITSTAMONE on Twitter and Instagram, and then I'm Tamone Bacon on Facebook. So short little plug, everybody check out State of Black Music Podcast.
Please.
We're getting, the 3rd season just started, so we got a lot of good things in store. Just, we have a lot of great episodes from last season. We interviewed Earth, Wind and Fire and Mary, and just, we did a lot of good stuff last season. So if you haven't heard,
I'm gonna ask you about that Mary one. I'm gonna ask you about that. Yeah.
Okay. That was coming. Yes. But yeah, again, we thank you, Tamone, and we thank all of our viewers and supporters, and share us with your folks if you think they would be into it, even if you think they wouldn't, maybe they will be. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we will catch y'all on the next episode of Catch That. Peace. Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am naturally Elise, and that is my brother,
JR.
and we are the R&B representatives. And today we are welcoming back a very, very dope guest, and it is Vegas. What's up, brother?
How y'all doing? Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm wearing hip hop, but I'm here to talk about some stuff.
It's all connected, though.
Right.
It's all black. And you know, if
That
it's black,
part.
if it's black, I'm happy. So,
Right.
yes. But yes, for folks who didn't catch you on your first episode that you hung out with us, tell them a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump into this.
All right. Well, as you can see on the Zoom, my name is Steven, but people call me Vegas. It's a name that came from me starting in radio on a hip hop show called Strictly Hip Hop. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised Bedford-Stuyvesant. Attended Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland, graduated in radio broadcasting, been in radio for 20 plus years. I think the last time I was on here, I had took a brief movement into the news and talk side of things, but now I'm back in music with WBGO, back with jazz, and on the weekends, Felix Hernandez Rhythm Review. You know, JR, you know what that is. Another.
Oh, listen,
so
that's the family station right there.
Everything y'all talk about, that's every Saturday.
Yes, sir. Oh,
Right.
Excellent. Well, how about you tell us what song you picked to talk about today and when you remember first hearing it?
Okay. Well, the song I picked today is from Alicia Myers. It's called Just Can't Stay Away. I heard it back in the 80s when I was probably around 8 or 7 years old. Shout out to my Aunt Versi. She would have parties at her house. Shout out to Queensbridge. She would have parties at her house, and towards the end of the party, you know how when the slow jams come on, right? They've been dancing all night in the projects, in the hallway, everything. Yeah. The slow jams come on, but this was when everybody would, start to peter out, and me and my sister staying for the weekend, and she would always play the same song, and she would play it over and over again and sing it. And I didn't know who it was, what it was. All I know is my aunt kept saying, ah, yeah. And I was like, is that the only part in the song? So, but when you're young like that and you're around the music and you constantly hear it, you start to feel it. And, I had no idea what she was talking about. But then I started to love it, and I didn't know who it was. I didn't know the name of the song, anything. I just knew that part from my aunt singing it. And a little bit later when I was in high school and I heard the song again, but it was in like a record store or whatever. And I went to the DJ like, oh, what is that record? Because, we have Google back then,
Well, no Shazam.
Right, Raw Shazam. That shit just gotta happen. You could be like, wait a minute, what's that song right there? Like, that's how you found out. But when he told me it was Alicia Myers and Just Can't Stay Away, and not having heard it since like the 80s, because that was the 90s when that happened, I was like, man, I really love this record. Like, and especially this version. So we'll get into it.
Yes. So, JR, why are you looking like that?
Because I do love this version. I love it. Like, listen, Alicia Myers went to church on this. You know what I'm saying? And then to have the Ridgeway sisters on background with her. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't really know about them because they have done background for Aretha. They have done background for Vesta Williams. They have done background for Eddie Kendricks. They have done background for so many people. But I think a lot of people know them from the Blues Brothers 2000 when they did Respect with her. And that's where they kind of know them as, but they're not really big. But this version I love because she take her time with it. This song, she kind of finesses, and that's what I like about it. You know what I mean? Like, she takes her time with it and knew when to go here, to go there. It was just a dope ass record. You know what I mean? Because again, I heard Natalie's version first. Not a big fan of it at all.
Really?
No. It's dry.
Really?
No, I'm not the fan of it. It just, when I heard it, I was just like, okay.
You think it's dry?
To me, I do. Like,
no, I don't Now I like Alicia's best, right?
Right.
But I don't dislike Natalie's at all.
I like when I
I
heard
like
it,
hers.
because I'm coming from like inseparable, because my grandmother, God bless her soul, is a Natalie Cole fan.
Mhm.
So she's playing these albums like that. So when she gets to this Thankful album and she plays this song, I'm like, she likes it. And I'm just like, and I'm like, oh. But then when I heard In Vogue's version, I said, oh, Terry ate this song the hell up.
Yeah.
But I was like, Alicia just brought some soul to it that it's just like, it's that brown liquor music to me. Like I can have me a drink while I'm just singing along to this. Like, yo, like that's how much of her version that I love so much. You know what I mean? And I can't go back to Natalie's. I just can't. Like when they did it live, In Vogue and Natalie, I thought that was dope when they did that live on her show. But I'm like, give me Alicia's. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't talk about this. So when they put this as his song, I was like, damn. Like I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I was hyped to talk about it because I'm like, a lot of people go to Natalie's version and a lot of people go to In Vogue. And a lot of people don't go to Alicia's.
I couldn't, but you know what? I couldn't find Alicia's on streaming.
No, it's not.
I had the record, but I was trying to listen to it when I was out and about. Just get it to soak in. And I couldn't, I only could go to YouTube and find it.
It seemed the fact that they only know like her up tempos to me on streaming. It's like Say is on there. I Want to Thank You is on there. Appreciation. Yeah, like those on there. It's not this. And I'm like, yeah, we know her for her up tempos, but these ballads that she doing, you know what I'm saying? Like
now they got If You Play Your Cards Right, but they don't have it under her. It's under One Way.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing with this, but it's not the version we're talking about. There's a version she did over, and she might have done it with different background singers, like more recently.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard it, I was like, nah, that ain't it. Like that's not the one. Like, I was waiting for it to hit my soul, and I was like, nah, that's not the way I remember this going down. So but it is on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is on YouTube. I'm mad. They don't even have the I Appreciate album on streaming, which I don't understand because I want to hear Say That, to be honest. That's a favorite of mine. Them damn horns. Yeah, I said it at least. That joint, but Can't Stay Away. Like, let me tell you something. Freaking Kevin McCord is playing the hell out of that bass. Now, that is the star of this record to me. And they know each other from One Way. You know what I mean? They was in that group together. So it was like, he did this whole album and they kind of know each other. So it's like, when you got that familiarity with each other, it's like, I'm going to do me, you do you, and we know how this goes. And like I said, she just takes her time. And I feel like that's why I love this joint so much. And me, it feels like New York to me. It does. Like, it just feels like New York to me. Right. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. So once you started listening to it for yourself, what was it about it that like kept you like, this is my song? Like, because your auntie, she wanted the aye, but what was it that specifically like got you?
I think initially when you don't hear a song for a while and you remember from your childhood, it's the nostalgia that hits you, right? Because I think about that time and being young and just having fun around those times. But I was a little older and I'm listening to the lyrics a little bit differently. And I'm just like, wow, like I'm not a person who's in church all the time, but this is my church. It just, I don't know, maybe it's the Black Panther spirits of just being Black and hearing somebody sing like that. It was unexplainable originally,
right.
But obviously I think everybody's so perfect on there, right? Background singers, Alicia's, she's fantastic on it. The music is perfect. The build, Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the build is what really gets me, because I love like Angela Bofield. I love a build into, you know, I can't sing, but I'm gonna sing that shit. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But and I think in a lot of ways, even though, you know, I grew up in the 90s and there's a number of artists I love from back then, but there's just something about that old soul, you know, you typically coming from the church, right? Most of them that sing like that, that's where they started. It just has an effect on you, and it brings power to the lyrics. And I hate the fact that I can't just get a nice, clean version. I mean, I could go get the vinyl like you. I gotta find it, but you know, that I can't just get a clean version of that on streaming just to tell people we listen to this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree though, but one quick other thing, I never knew at that time that the Natalie Cole version existed. I heard it after, and I was like, what is this? Because, you know, I was already hating off the top, like, what is this? And, you know, they're like, oh, this is first. Like, well, not anymore, okay? And En Vogue, I was, you know, I liked En Vogue, so I was like, all right, I like that one. So,
Yeah.
That's exactly how I was with it though, because I was just like, all right, you know what I mean? Because I got to hear the Natalie version first. So it was like, okay, I ain't feeling it. Then I heard En Vogue, but then honestly, I think they was playing it on BLS. I think they were playing it on BLS, and this had to be like 91, 92. They were playing it on BLS, and I just remember I was like, "Ma, who did this?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, Natalie Cole did that." I was like, "I don't like hers." I was like, "Who is this?" And she was like, "I think it's Alicia Myers." She was like, "Don't quote me on that." And then back then you couldn't go through like Google and find it, like you said. So we went through my grandparents' record collection. And I remember us really going through it, and we found it. And it was like, it's Alicia. My mom was like, I knew I was right, but I wanted to make sure. I didn't want to tell you wrong. And I was like, I like it. And that was the first time I actually knew that Say was her. I didn't know that was Alicia Myers. I didn't know. I was like, what? Because that's the first song on the album. So when we playing it, I was just like, oh, that's her. That's the same lady from I Want to Thank You. My mom was like, yeah, that's her. I'm like, oh. And then we listened to the album, and I loved it. And that's when we got to this. I said, Ma, I don't even care about Natalie version no more. I'm sorry.
But I'll say one thing I do love about Alicia's voice, like, is churchy and powerful, but sweet at the same time. So it's not. Some super churchy voices, they can almost startle you when they start singing, like kind of aggressive and scary in that way. But hers, it still comes off like sweet and like I hear a voice, I'm like, I bet she's a nice lady. Like, you know, like
right. So, you know,
I get that.
It's not threatening.
Right. When you say that, when you describe it like that, it makes me think about when somebody's going to sing and you like, I don't know who that is. I don't know what the hell they about to sound like. And then they just blow you away. You like, damn, well, okay. You know, we didn't, the way you walked up there all timid, we didn't think you had that in you. You know?
Okay, like, I see you.
Yeah, and then a couple of times I done gave that look like, what's she about to do? Like, uh-oh. And then she go up there and kill it. And I'm like, well, damn, you walked up there like you were scared. Like, I'm like, you go, who you gonna give me? Like, but yeah, oh God. And again, like you said, Veg, I just like the fact that she's literally taking her time with this song. Like, she's not rushing through it to me. You know what I mean? Because you can get, I feel like with En Vogue's version, I feel like as much as I do like it, I feel like Terry just showing that I can sing to me. You know what I mean? It's just like the run she doing, and she's hitting that high whistle, and doing all that, like, y'all, you just heard Don't Go, I'm about to take you here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I feel like she was showing herself vocally. To me, Alicia was just like, she put herself into this song and was like, whoever she was talking to, she was like, I want you to hear this. And I'm gonna take my time with this. But I'm gonna get to the part where I'm gonna give you that growl, and the women behind me gonna give you them vocals just to, you know, that background just to help me through this. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just can't stay away. Like.
Alicia is singing it with you, and Vogue is singing it at you.
Damn.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You is smart, you is kind, you is important.
Yeah, and look, maybe like to your second question, right? Maybe that's what I felt, right? Later on, like there's a power behind it. And I felt like she was connecting with me. Because, you know, when you work in radio, you're supposed to talk to the person, not all the people, but the one person.
Yeah.
That's what makes it relatable and, you know, personable. So I know with that song, you know, when I was younger, I didn't get it. It just sounded good. Then, you know, you get a little older, you get a little puppy crush. You like, yeah, you know, she's singing to me. She can't stay away. You know. It's great.
Mean, I don't blame her, you know, whatever.
right. And you know what's crazy too? And here's another, and JR, I guess we were kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But I always forget, I have the record, right? But I always forget I have it until I'm going through my library. And I'm like, oh, I got to listen to this. And I remember my wife was like, what version is this? And, you know, I was like, what do you mean what version is this? I was getting upset. And she was like, this is En Vogue. I was like, what are you? Because for her, she never heard this version. Oh. She heard En Vogue, and I think she heard Natalie Cole.
Okay.
And it's, you know, it's probably, you know, same reason why on the streaming service you can't find it. And I was trying to find my words so I didn't say anything, you know, disrespectful, but I was like, this, you better like this after we get through this one. Because this the one, okay?
It is.
Right. But it be like that. It would be a song you really like, and people ain't heard it. You sit there, they listen to it, you like.
Right. Right.
Like, all right, you better like this version. Because I mean, it's been a couple of times that, you know what I'm saying, you get, you know what I'm saying, it's a couple of times people will be like, I'll play them the original version, and they're like, it's cool. It's cool. What? Are you serious right now? Like, it's cool? Got it. But see, I haven't played Alicia for nobody yet. So I want somebody to come for that version, because if they come for that version, they're gonna have to get the hell out of my house. Because I don't play them games. No, like, at least you know I do not play that, especially with the fact that this song is it. To me, I just feel like everybody's gonna go to Natalie's. Obviously, it's the original version. Was it a single? Was that a single from our album release?
I don't know.
Because I know Our Love is the biggest record off that album.
Off of that album.
Yeah, so I didn't know if Stay Away is a single. You know what I mean? But I'm just like, a lot of people, when it comes to Natalie, a lot of people don't talk about that song. I'm happy for that. But, you know, a lot.
JR, I think maybe you don't like this song.
I don't like Natalie's.
I know, I was being
facetious. You were. I know. But it's her. I don't know why. It's just something that don't connect to me to Natalie.
It wasn't a single. It was only 2 singles off the album. Our Love and Anime.
Okay, so I think everybody would know more of En Vogue's because they do it live a lot. Yeah. So I think everybody will go to theirs, and like, you know, you said that it's not, Alicia's version not on streaming platform, so nobody don't think about that. And it just irks me that everybody don't know about this record, because I always feel like this album, to me, I felt like this was a whole different sound than what everybody else was doing to me. This is 84. This is a whole, because, you know, like me and Elise always say, from like 80 to 83-ish, people was trying to find that sound out of disco. because disco was getting shitted on. So it was like, we trying to find this new sound. And I think the only ones that was kind of rocking with it was Cashapp and Leon Silvers. But we get to 83 and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis kind of understanding with the SOS. So I'm like, once she come out with this album, and I'm like, Say is a banger. It's a club banger. But when you listen to her album, it has a different sound. And I'm like, why didn't this album like pop for her? You know what I mean? Because I really thought that this album could have been it. But I think, again, you know, a lot of our R&B artists in that disco era kind of got stuck and couldn't kind of get out of it. Because, I mean, Cheryl Lynn had her hit in 84 with Encore, but after that, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did that, and that was it for her. So it was like, again, everybody knows Alicia Myers, and after Say, it's kind of like, they don't know no more. But I'm like, this album is freaking dope. That's why I want people to really go listen to. You got Say, Appreciation, Say That, Just Praying. Her and them Rigid Way Girls went gospel on that record. And it's just, and then Just Can't Stay Away. I'm like, this is a dope album, yo. And I'm like, I wanted this to pop. And then she was on MCA, but I kind of put her in the same class of, what's his name? Colonel Abrams to me. That's why I kind of feel like they kind of put her in there, even though she's from Detroit, but they gave her kind of like that New York vibe. And it was like, if she would have had maybe Jimmy and Terry do the next album, she might could have popped. But this, it was like, this should have been the one. And I'm just mad that this one wasn't it. You know what I mean? And it's like, she probably was like, I'm done after this. I bow out, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, damn, we only remember her for her club singles rather than these joints here. But yeah, I just want people to go listen to I Appreciate, because I love the album and I love her version, Just Can't Stay Away. Just saying.
Yeah, for the people in the back that didn't hear JR the first 20 times, yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to help you help yourself, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, so yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your love for this amazing song.
Yes.
That JR loves.
I had to dig in my bag because I was
watching you did
episodes, and I was like, you know what? Some people be coming up here with some stuff. Let me dig a little deeper.
Oh no, man, you dig in deep with this one. I don't think ain't nobody rocking with this. They ain't picked no deep album cut like this yet.
Right.
Oh, God.
But we got some folks coming up. See now people get hip and they watching the show and they dig it deeper.
You see that, right? Yeah.
But it's okay. We like to talk about singles too.
Yeah.
But we do love the deep cuts though, because it gives a chance to like kind of get in teach mode. So we like it.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you for picking such a wonderful song.
Yes.
No problem. I know I'm gonna listen to it now, right? We done talked about the shit.
So you listen.
That happened after every mini. I end up going back
and listen to it. Yep.
Even though I've been listening to it all week. But
right.
So before we talk about stuff that I have to get immersed in it and see if it was something about the song that I missed, and you know.
Right, me too.
You know, plus I don't want to get him, you looking stupid. You say something, I'm like, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, yeah, that was the year. Yeah.
Like, oh, that song was really, really pretty.
Yeah. That's it.
Right.
It's cool. Yeah. But so how about you give us if you would like folks to find you, where can they find you, and anything else you want to tell the people?
Okay, cool. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Vegas World INC. You can check out in that link, there's a link tree to all the content I produce, from podcasting to some videos, boxing, hip hop, R&B a couple of times here and there.
Yes.
You know? But definitely check it out. Everything's there in my bio.
Excellent. Well, again, we thank you, and we thank all our viewers, and you know, y'all family now. So we thank y'all family. And how about you bring us some more cousins and share the episode and tell folks about us. And we would love, love to just keep building more cousins, more cousins.
Yes. Yes.
And we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. Peace.
Peace.